The other thing that happened was your last shot. Can you take us back, though, to how that came to pass, so the timeout before that set up you being designated to take that last shot? What was that whole process like?
To tell you the truth, I really don't even remember.
Mm-hmm.
All I remember is I had the opportunity to win the game, and I lost it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I remember, but you just help that to improve your game, and to improve you as a person. I mean, those are things that can easily break you, or they can help you grow stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not the type that's going to break easily.
Mm-hmm.
So I just put that in my memory bank, realized that I had the game in my hands, and I came up short. My team trusted in me to get the job done, hopefully. Game 7 of this season.
I always think that there's two types of players who love to win and players who hate to lose. Which one are you?
I'm neither.
Meaning?
I'm neither. Meaning that, I play to figure things out. I play to learn something, right? Because I think if you play with a fear of failure, or you play with the will to win, or that supersedes the fear of failure, I think it's a weakness either way, right? Because if you play with the fear of failing, you'll have the pressure on yourself to play, to capitulate to that fear. If you play with the sense of I want to win, then you have the fear of what happens if you don't. But if you find common ground in the middle, in the center, then it doesn't matter. You're unfazed by either, right? And that enables you to really just stay in the moment, stay connected to it, and not feel anything other than what's in front of you. So, I try to just be dead center.
So a lot of people in general are afraid of failure. How did you become one of those people who doesn't seem to be afraid of failing?
It doesn't exist. It's not existent. What the hell does that mean? Seriously, what does failure mean? It doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination. Let's use happy endings, right? And then we can relate this to failure, why it's not existent. Like, everybody talks about, like, everybody wants a happy ending, right? Now let's go to the reality of it, right? Let's look at a fairy tale story. Let's look at Snow White.
Mm-hmm.
She gets a happy ending. She finds Prince, whatever, she goes on. She lives happily ever after. Well, I call bullshit on that, because 2 months later, the fact is they had an argument and he's sleeping on the couch. Right? So the point is, the story continues. The story continues. So if you fail on Monday, the only way it's a failure on Monday is if you decide to not progress from that, right? So to me, that's why failure is not existent. Because, if I fail today, okay, I'm going to learn something from that failure, and I'm going to try again on Tuesday. And I fail, and I'm going to try again on Wednesday. So it doesn't exist. I had a dream, and I had goals that I wanted to accomplish, right? And if I don't accomplish those goals, I have to ask myself why, right? And so from my position, the reason why I would not have accomplished those things is poor leadership, failure to communicate properly with my teammates to put them in positions to be successful, lack of preparation, all those things would be reasons why I don't win, right? So now, if that was the case, and in my career, I have to sit and I have to analyze that, and then as I move and I evolve, post basketball into business or whatever, those same weaknesses are going to reveal themselves there, right? So if I don't learn from that, I'm going to struggle here too, right? So I can take those situations and learn from those and have them, make me a better person later in life. But if I don't take that stuff and apply that someplace else, then that's failing, which to me is the worst possible thing you could ever have, is to stop and to not learn.
Wow. What I've learned is to always keep going, always. There's been times, particularly early in my career, where it just feels like this is the end. But what I've come to find out is that, no matter what happens, the storm eventually ends. And when the storm does end, you want to make sure that you're ready. And so I've really learned to put one foot in front of the other, good, bad, or indifferent, because eventually that storm passes.
I think it's how do you negotiate with yourself? I think that's the biggest thing. Is we talk about the mental side of it, but then, like, what does that really mean? Like, the thoughts that happen in your mind when you're going through a competitive situation, or you're facing a tight deadline, you still don't have the idea yet. What happens inside of here? You talk yourself out of it. Do you say, okay, well, it won't be a big deal if I don't do it, or I don't have to get up on a Tuesday morning, then go ahead and hit the track. What does this day really mean in the long grand scheme of things anyway. It's just one day. And when you have those conversations with yourself, are you able to negotiate your way out of, that little, voice telling you it's not that important, or does that little voice get the best of you? I think that's what separates people who go on to do great things versus people who don't, or people that do great things but in an inconsistent way.
When we say this cannot be accomplished, this cannot be done, then we are shortchanging ourselves. I knew that I was not going to be stopped. So at the age of 18, this was my life, right? So you can't possibly become better than me because you're not spending the time on it that I do. Even if you want to spend the time on it, you can't because you have other things. You have other responsibilities that are taking you away from it. So I already won.